The day the CFO accused me of stealing company money, he leaned back in his leather chair and smirked. "Don't waste time defending yourself, Alex. We already know it was you." And for weeks, I believed there was no way out. I was broke, humiliated, and watching my career crumble in front of me. After 12 years of loyalty, they framed me as a thief. They had accountants, lawyers, power, and I was just one man. But what they didn't know was that a single security camera, forgotten in the corner of the office, had caught everything. Before I tell you how that video saved my life, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story, and comment where you're watching from. I read every one. My name is Alex Turner, 39 years old, from Denver, Colorado. For 12 years, I worked as a senior accounts manager at a mid-sized logistics firm. It wasn't glamorous, but I kept the books clean, balanced payroll, and managed vendor payments. Colleagues trusted me. I was the guy people called when numbers didn't add up. My daily routine was boring but steady. Morning coffee from the 7-Eleven across the street, long hours balancing spreadsheets, late nights finalizing quarterly reports. I thought I'd retire there. Until one Thursday morning, the CFO, Mr. Reynolds, called me into his office. His voice was cold. "Alex, $85,000 is missing from the operations account. All signs point to you." I laughed nervously. "What? That's insane. I've never mishandled a cent." He slid a folder across the desk. "Bank transfers, password logs, access records, all tied to my login. HR will suspend you immediately," he said. "But understand this, if you fight us, we'll press criminal charges." I stumbled out of his office like a criminal. HR walked me through the building as if I was contagious. Coworkers whispered. At home, I stared at the evidence over and over. The transfers were real, but I hadn't made them. Somehow, my credentials had been used. I called IT. They said, "Your account shows no unusual activity." I emailed Reynolds begging for a deeper investigation. No reply. Within a week, I received a certified letter, termination for financial misconduct. No severance. No benefits. And a warning that legal action is pending. The humiliation cut deeper than the money. My wife looked at me like a stranger. My son asked, "Dad, did you really steal from your job?" The fallout spread fast. A neighbor avoided me at the grocery store. A friend postponed a lunch we'd planned. I could feel the unspoken judgment everywhere I went. Bills piled higher, my wife clipped coupons at the kitchen table, and my son stopped inviting friends over, embarrassed by the whispers about me. I couldn't sleep. I lost weight. Debt collectors left voicemails calling me delinquent. My chest felt tight every time the phone rang. One night, sitting at the kitchen table, I saw my wife fold a bill with shaking hands. "Alex, we can't keep this up," she whispered. That cut deeper than any accusation. I almost gave up. Almost. Then, while cleaning out my office box at home, I found a slip of paper, a sticky note with a maintenance log number. It reminded me of something, a new security camera IT had installed in the accounting wing just weeks earlier. Could it have recorded something? That tiny hope, my 1% chance. The next morning, I drove to the building. Security tried to stop me, but I demanded my personal files. While rummaging through boxes, I spotted the IT manager, Dave. I pulled him aside. "That new camera in accounting, was it live?" He frowned. "Yeah, it feeds into the main server." "Why?" "Because someone used my login. I need to know who." He hesitated but finally whispered, "Look, I can't release footage to you. But if your lawyer requests it, it'll come up in discovery." That word stuck, discovery. That night, I found Rachel Stein, a local employment attorney. Her office was cramped, piled with folders, but her eyes burned with focus. When I explained and mentioned the camera, she leaned forward. "Alex, this could be gold. If the video shows anyone else using your workstation, it's game over for them." I wanted to believe her, but doubt gnawed at me. What if it doesn't show enough? What if they bury us in paperwork? Rachel tapped her pen. "Then we fight until the truth comes out." For the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope, but it was fragile, like holding a match in a storm. Driving home that night, my hands gripped the wheel so tightly they ached. I didn't know if we would win, but at least, finally, I wasn't fighting alone. We filed a lawsuit, wrongful termination and defamation. The company fought back viciously. Their corporate lawyers buried us in documents, painted me as reckless, claimed I lived above my means. They even hinted I had a gambling problem. Lies stacked a mile high. Rachel kept me steady. "This will get ugly," she said. "But hold on to that 1%. And I did. Barely. The trial dragged on for months. The company's attorneys hammered me on the stand. "Mr. Turner, isn't it true you had access to the funds?" "Yes, but so did 3 others." Isn't it true your credentials processed the transfer? Yes, but I didn't do it. The jury looked skeptical. My palms sweated. I caught sight of my wife in the back row, clutching our son's hand. My chest tightened. I couldn't let him grow up thinking his father was a thief. Then Reynolds took the stand. He spoke smoothly, confidently, saying, "I trusted Alex. But sometimes the people you trust most are the ones who let you down." He leaned back like a man untouchable. His lawyer strutted, pacing the floor, flashing charts meant to bury me. Every second felt like drowning in quicksand. Their performance was airtight, rehearsed. They wanted the jury to see me as nothing but a desperate liar. At recess, I whispered to Rachel, "We've lost, haven't we?" She didn't answer. Back in session, Rachel stood with calm confidence. "Your Honor, one last exhibit." She played a grainy video from the security server. The courtroom fell silent. There, clear as day, was Mr. Reynolds himself. Sitting at my desk. Typing on my computer. Accessing the account. Making the transfer. Gasps erupted. Jurors leaned forward. Reporters scribbled furiously. Reynolds's face turned white. His lawyer stammered objections, but the judge barked, "Overruled." That video, the 1% twist, flipped the entire case. Rachel drove the nail in. "Ladies and gentlemen, the plaintiff wasn't just innocent, he was framed." The jury nodded. The judge leaned forward, voice firm, "The evidence is clear. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff." The gavel slammed. I was awarded $120,000 in damages plus full public exoneration. Walking out of that Denver courthouse, I felt 10 years younger. For months, I had been branded a thief. 99% of the evidence was against me. But that 1%, a forgotten camera, a single video file, had saved everything. Reynolds resigned in disgrace. The company issued a public statement clearing my name. Colleagues who had avoided me began sending apologies. One even said, "Alex, I'm sorry. I should have known better." For me, it wasn't just about money. It was about dignity. It was about walking into my son's room and saying, "See? Your dad didn't steal." And watching his face light up with pride. That evening, I took my family out for dinner, nothing fancy, just a diner we loved. For the first time in months, food tasted good again. My wife smiled like the weight had finally lifted. Later that night, I sat alone on the porch under the Colorado sky, listening to the quiet. For weeks, my chest had felt heavy, like a stone pressing down, but now I could finally breathe. I thought about the workers who never get this kind of break, who get steamrolled by powerful companies because they don't have the money or the luck to find proof. My victory felt personal, but it also felt bigger, like a reminder that even giants can fall if someone shines a light in the right place. I promised myself this: I would never again let someone silence me with fear. And I'd teach my son the same, that truth matters, that character matters, and that even when the odds are stacked against you, you never stop fighting. Because sometimes, one small scrap of evidence can destroy the biggest lie. If you believe in fighting back when the odds are stacked against you, subscribe now. The next story I'll tell you is even crazier.